It's the day after Arsenal versus Real Madrid. And I think it's fair to say that rivals all over the socials could not believe what they saw, including me. And I'm not going to lie, the thought of Arsenal actually winning this Champions League makes me feel sick. You know, being a Tottenham fan, watching us tonight in the Europa League, hopefully go through to the semi-final of the Europa League, would be a fantastic achievement for this club, to the thought of winning the Europa League, but it doesn't really make it any better knowing the fact that Arsenal could win the Champions League. The thought of Arsenal winning the Champions League now could become a reality. They are 2 games from the final, 3 games left in the competition. And do you know how insane it is that Arsenal are in the semi-finals and they have only conceded 7 goals? 7 goals in the Champions League conceded is absolutely ridiculous. They only conceded 1 in 120 minutes. Sorry, 180 minutes against Real Madrid, against Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinny Jr., Valverde, Tchouameni, Camavinga, Rudiger, Rodrigo. Like, this Arsenal defense right now is the best in Europe. I don't care what anyone says. And bearing in mind, they're doing this with Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's come into the team only 6-7 months ago, who's 18 years of age, and probably the 3rd best left back in Europe right now. Only Mendes at PSG and Balde at Barcelona, or Balde, sorry, are better than him right now. And he's 18. And then you throw in the fact that they had no Gabriel as well. Ben White hasn't been there. Timber and Lewis-Skelly right now is probably the best fullback pairing, one of, if not the best fullback pairing in Europe. It's absolutely insane. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. 90% of you who watch the content every single day are not subscribed, so please hit this subscribe button. As it stands right now, to be precise, we are 66 subscribers away from 51,000. So big up to every single one of you. I hope you're all doing really, really well tonight. Of course, there will be a match reaction for Tottenham versus Frankfurt. Make sure you go and check out the Newcastle match reaction earlier. I can't believe Newcastle United is sitting in 3rd in the Premier League. It's absolutely insanity what we are witnessing right now. It really, really is. It's just a joke. I'm not going to lie to you. It's an absolute joke. The fact that, you know, Tottenham are where we are in the league and Arsenal are in the flipping Champions League semi-final and Newcastle have won a trophy and a 3rd in the Premier League. Like, I'm not going to lie, it is painful. But, you know, we're here to talk about football. We try to take our bias out, and we need to talk about how Arsenal broke Real Madrid, how they broke their hearts. I want to talk about the before the game hype. The hype up before, everyone was talking about remontada was the name, was the word that Jude Bellingham used in his press conference. And Real Madrid pretty much throughout the entire week were talking about a comeback. Jude Bellingham said, the minute the game finished at the Emirates, we believe we could come back. We believe we've got the tools. We believe we've got the players, the idea, the mentality to go and score 3 goals against Arsenal. And this Arsenal side, with no Kai Havertz, with no Gabriel Jesus in the squad, no striker in the squad, Mikel Merino up front, Declan Rice puts in 2 of the best performances in his career. And right now, genuinely, this guy may be the best central midfielder in the world on current form. You may argue otherwise. You may say someone from Barcelona or Inter Milan, maybe Barea. Who knows? But he's definitely up there. Thomas Partey, of course, will miss the first leg against PSG. But he was unbelievable as well. Won every header. I don't really get the game plan that was to cross the ball into the box. And Courtois come out afterwards and actually said, maybe we should try actually playing football. I don't know what Carlo Ancelotti tried to do. When you look at the personnel he had on the pitch, Mbappe, Vinny, Bellingham, Rodrigo, you know, this team should be scoring more than 1 goal. And it's Real Madrid are in a situation now where Vinny and Mbappe are both trying to be the Ronaldo. But who's going to be the Bale? Who's going to be the Benzema? They're both trying to be the main man. Rodrigo is absolutely suffering. You know, he is a world-class player and he is suffering. They're not getting the best out of him. And it was a very, very easy job for this Arsenal backline because every single cross that went into the box, It didn't matter if it was Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, Kivior, Saliba, or Timber with a defensive header. And Real Madrid just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And let's just be brutally honest. If it wasn't for a William Saliba, mistake, a lapse of concentration, Real Madrid shouldn't have scored over 2 games against Arsenal. Now, that is absolutely ridiculous. When you look at the stats, 3 shots on target against Real Madrid. Arsenal with more XG, higher shot on target, and they should have had a third. If Saka scores that penalty, they win 3-1. They would have scored 6 goals against Real Madrid. And if you even look at the match stats from the first leg, if you go back a week ago and look at the match stats from Real Madrid, yet again, they only had 3 shots on target. 6 shots on target in 120 minutes against Arsenal is absolutely terrible. Arsenal had more shots in the first leg on target than Real Madrid did in 180 minutes. They were absolutely well-deserved winners. They beat them both physically. They battered them on every single header, every single set piece. They had a game plan, and the game plan was to sit back and frustrate Real Madrid, and they did that absolutely superb. We need to talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly, because at 18 years of age, other than Balde at Barcelona and Nuno Mendes at PSG, he's probably the 3rd best left back this season, and this kid is 18 years of age. He is not, phased by the big occasion. Darren Fletcher said something yesterday on commentary, which is absolutely spot on, and it was that Lewis-Skelly looks like he's made 300 appearances at the Bernabeu. This guy doesn't even have 50 Arsenal appearances. What he is doing this season is absolutely obscene. He's got 8 Champions League appearances in his career, and he looks like he's played for Arsenal for decades. He looks like he's a seasoned pro. He's got 32 appearances in an Arsenal shirt, and he looks one of the best fullbacks in Europe this season. You accompany that with Timber, who yet has not been dribbled past by Vinny Jr. in 180 minutes in 2 games. Vinny did not get the better of Timber. You partner that with a Saliba who is an absolute Rolls Royce, the best centre-back in the Champions League this season. No cap. You might say Bastoni. You might say Martinez at Barca. None of these guys are on Saliba's level. Bearing in mind, you're playing without your normal centre-back partner. You're playing with a guy who is inexperienced in the Champions League and isn't the number 1 choice at left-sided centre-back. And they go out there and they score 5 against Real Madrid. And then this man here, Declan Rice, with the performance of his life in the first game, 2 unbelievable free kicks, put the team on his back, stepped up in the big moment. And then Bukayo Saka steps up in the second leg. And the performance that he had defensively, winning every header, winning every duel, breaking up play, dispatching the ball out wide to Saka and Martinelli. And Martinelli deserves huge praise as well. To have that much energy in the 93rd minute and run 70-odd yards with the finish is unbelievable. But this Arsenal team have got all the makings. If they bring in a Gyökeres, an Isak, or let's say someone else of that quality, they will win the Premier League. Mark my words. They will win the Premier League. And the thought of Arsenal winning a Premier League, the thought of Arsenal winning the Champions League, it's absolutely disgusting. I'll be honest with you. It is, from a Spurs perspective, it's absolutely shit. And if we go out tonight, I swear to God, if we go out tonight and don't put in an unbelievable performance, looking at what Arsenal have just done, then this football club is a disgrace. If we can't beat Frankfurt and Arsenal have just beaten Real Madrid, and the fact that Man United could go through against Lyon tonight is absolutely disgraceful. It really, really is disgraceful if we don't go through tonight. And you look at that midfield, Odegaard, Partey and Rice. Now, they are up against one of the best midfields in Europe, if not the best midfield in Europe. And don't get me wrong, PSG will probably be slight favourites. But this is a PSG side that conceded 4 goals against Aston Villa. Now, this midfield from PSG of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves is a joke. And they've got the best fullback pairing in Europe right now. Hakimi and Mendes, both scoring against Aston Villa, are unbelievable. However, if PSG keep playing Parkola instead of Desiree Doué, I think Arsenal make the final. I'm not going to lie to you. This PSG side is not scoring 4 goals against Arsenal. They've conceded 7 goals in the competition. Like, I don't think you understand. 7 goals. Arsenal have played Real Madrid home and away, PSV home and away. They've played Girona, Zagreb. They've played Monaco, Sporting, Inter, Shakhtar Donetsk, PSG, and Atalanta. They didn't concede a goal against Shakhtar, PSG, or Atalanta. They conceded 1 against Inter Milan, 1 against Sporting, 0 against Monaco. So that's 2 in 5. 0 against Zagreb, 1 against Girona, 2 against PSV, and 1 against Real Madrid. They've conceded 7 goals in the Champions League this season without their first choice left-sided centre-back. Like, the levels we're talking about right now are absolutely flipping insane. They are insane. We're talking about a team right now that tactically under Arteta, this reminds me of, dare I say it, it reminds me of Jose's Inter Milan. Being the underdogs against Barcelona, getting through. Being the underdogs against Bayern Munich in the final, getting through. Defensively, being unbelievable. On the counter-attack, the idea, the identity, the output from players. Like, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. Make sure you do hit this subscribe button. Make sure you're there later for Frankfurt versus Tottenham. Let me know your thoughts. And I am out.